had a meeting on Tuesday. Tuesday or Wednesday. I had a meeting on Wednesday. And every time I fast to work, it's on. It's on, Albert. Every time I had to fast because I had to deal with something. Okay, if he's sitting down, it wouldn't happen. I had to deal with a situation. So I began to fast to deal with that. And the minute I began to fast, it was the oppression. I mean, it seemed like they opened up a pit. And the pit was anywhere I was, Bodie. And all of a sudden, it was trouble on every side. Like we all was yesterday. I was here yesterday. This didn't happen yesterday. But I realized that it is the external pressures of life trying to get me to turn my heart from God. The external situations. I choose to be offended by what anybody says to me. I choose how I react. Whether you say it or not, you choose to react the way you react. Have you ever said something to someone? Somebody just sat there for a while. Just breathing before the answer. And I meant I'll be counting to 10 in her head before I answer. Because I will make sure the answer I give you is the right one. There are many believers who need to count to 10 before they answer. Many. And count slow. And count 1,000, 2, 1,000. Count slow. Paul says, shall tribulation, shall distress, shall persecution, shall famine, shall no food, absence of food. The external food that feed this body. If there are no food, some of us got to eat. Some of us live to eat. Wave your hand at us. I ain't the only one. Some of us live to eat. Pastor Sterling, look at Gabby. Gabby said, you know, I eat to live. I just eat to live. But there's some of us that we actually live to eat. There's some of us can't wait to go away. Everything. Everything. McDonald's, the last time we were in Nassau, I refused to eat McDonald's. I sit up in the best restaurant. Like that, what you? Everything. You go to IHOP just for that T-bone steak for breakfast. 24 hours later, that's still trying to digest. But you on your way back to IHOP cutting again. Every morning, T-bone steak for breakfast because we live to eat. But Paul says, if you didn't have that food, would you turn your back on God? Amen. Would you turn your back on God? He says, shall nakedness. Jesus, help me. Woo! This one rough. You cannot wear what you want to wear. You don't have any clothes at all. That might be a problem, Sterling. That might be a problem. Because you all know your boy's a shopper. I'm a shopaholic. And I need shop for me. I don't shop for people, but I shop for me. But Paul says, if you didn't have the money to buy what you buy, will you turn your back on God? Amen. If you had to go back, elastically, to one suit, would you turn your back on God? If you could not dress up when everybody else dressing up, when dressed down over, would you turn your back? Would you even come to church? Would you even come to church? For many people, they say, listen, and they get one suit. They didn't see this already. I ain't coming to church. On Thursday, we have, give me 10 minutes, I'll be done. We have something called Pink Shirt Thursdays. And so there are some people that have a few, to say the least, pink shirts. And don't have to wear the same one over and over. There's one particular guy who wore his pink shirt. So someone said to him on Thursday, listen, man, you got to buy a couple more pink shirts because you keep wearing the same one. Would you come to church every Sunday in the same dress if you could not afford it? Would you come to worship? If you know they're looking at you, Alvin, you only get one shoe heel, and one shoe, and the heel of that shoe will ship up, and woman is look. I see them. I see them shoes. Lana have one before. She wear them before, like last 2 Sundays. Yeah, she had another color skirt, but I mean the blouse was the same. The shoe was the same for sure. Would you show up to church if you know that people watching you and you don't have nothing else? Paul says these are external issues that adversely affect the internal aspect of man. External stuff. Would you show up? I remember when we was down the road to the other place, Alva. Every Sunday morning, Sam would get to the closet. She would cry. What's happening, honey? Well, I'm not the well. Boo-hoo and straight around. I can't find the well. She got at the well. She really didn't have anything to wear. And many days she came out in the same stuff, trying to create it, trying to put one little flower on the side so they think it was a different blouse, you know. Try to juggle something together. I remember coming up as a child. I don't know all the dresses my mom had, but I remember she had a yellow and black dress that somebody gave her. It was yellow and black. I'll never forget that. And when you get to the point where you're so low and you're in a small ministry where everybody sees you, will you still keep your connection to God? Will you show up to sing on the praise team when they realize that same black dress is what you had on last week? Paul says, nakedness. Will you show up? He says, peril, extreme danger. Would you show up to church if you know that something could potentially happen to you? If they put a hit out on all Christians, would you come to church? The joke is told, Bodie, about the pastors about to preach. And the gunmen walk in church, 2 gunmen, heavily armed and with masks on. And they say, all will take a bullet for Jesus. Sit down. If you're not willing to take a bullet for Jesus, get out of this church now. Whole church run. Pastor's only one standing there. Scared. Fella take off his mask. They say, Pastor, go ahead now. I just want to get rid of hypocrites. Would you really take a bullet for Jesus? Say, Pastor, we just want to get rid of all the hypocrites. Now it's just you and us. Preach, sir. Don't forget I got this gun now. Would you take a bullet for Jesus? Would you take a bullet for Jesus? Would you do that? Would you do that? Would you say, listen, for Christ, and we say it in the good times, when things good, for Christ I live, for Christ I die. But do you really mean that you love God and you will die for him? Would you die for him? Would you die for him? It is the love of God that empowers us to be more than a conqueror. It is his love that empowers us, that causes us to be more, to overcome. It is that love that's in us, that when we know exactly what to do, when it's time. I told Pastor Dunn this morning, I said, when it's time, you know exactly what to do. Because that love will arise in you and you will know exactly what to do. You will have all the answers right when you need it. This past week, I was walking, where was I? I was on the fish fry. It was my mom's 60th birthday on Thursday, and we were on our way to dinner. And a guy walked past me, and the shirt says H-I-M, him. And the shirt said, His Imperial Majesty. I kind of like that, because His Imperial Majesty is only one king. And even though they're portraying it to be someone else, Alva, we know it's only one God. Do you love him that much to do whatever it takes to stay connected to him? Turn to this text for me, Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 25. Right after this, one more thing and then we'll be done. Ephesians 5 says, husbands, love your wife, even as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. Go back now, CJ, to verse 23. 23 says, for the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church. Go back to 22. Maybe it's 22 I want. Good. 22. Wives, submit yourself unto your own husband, as unto the Lord. Now, it is with the love of God that we love our wives. I was sharing with the brothers a few nights ago, that I believe that Paul wrote this backward, Gelly, because if you know, there's something about when a woman knows that a man loves them. When a woman knows that, and you also don't get married, listen to this, son. You'll get something from this. When a woman knows that a man loves them, Michael Bolton said he'll sleep out in the rain. He will give up all of his comforts. If she say that's the way it ought to be. Now, verse 23 says, wives, and we have on this time, we preach this straight through. Woman, submit to your husband. Submit, submit, submit. But a woman will not submit to a man unless he first. Unless he first loves her, she will not submit. Listen, Alva. Who say you right? Kelly? I guess you, Kelly? Kelly, that's the amen corner. A woman will not submit to a man unless he loves her. This is the agape love, the unconditional love that we're talking about. The love that caused her to know that he will do whatever it takes to take care of me. I want to be with him because why? I know he loves me. Amen. Then Celine Dion says, Lana, she will bring you water from the moon. Yeah. She will bring you water from the moon just because she knows that you love her. It is this unconditional love that we're talking about this morning. God will do whatever it takes to keep a connection with you. But will you do whatever it takes to keep your connection with God? Because I've come to understand human beings are very easily distracted. It's called ever-changing priorities. Ever-changing alternatives, They make it their priority. Today, me and God walking close hand in hand. But tomorrow, if someone do something, I could easily be led astray. Will you do whatever it takes to keep your love relationship alive with God? When you cut out distractions, when you're courting like Inga them, when you're courting, right? You do whatever it takes. You check in every hour of the day. Just calling this lady, I love you. You just called me 15 minutes ago, man. Ease up. The minute you get married after 17 years, we have all day. Well, this how we living now? Yeah, I was busy, man. I was busy. I was working, man. What you want me to do? I was working. But when you're dating, you're checking in straight through. You're sending texts back and forward. Because you're trying to keep that person. But why is it that when you get that person, that's another topic for another day. But anyhow, we have to do whatever it takes to keep our connection with God. And it will mean, Kelly, closing some doors, cutting off some people. At the end of it, Paul says that the fixed power of the mind says, I am persuaded. Paul says, my mind is fixed. Persuaded means I am convinced. The word persuasion in the text suggests that I am convinced based on whether I have evidence or not. I am convinced that nothing will separate me from God's love. No matter what the devil can come up with, I will still be connected to God.